going to leave flight mode off for the time being, and it's because I am going to be talking about evil. I know what evil feels like. I've looked around enough at what it looks like, where it takes some provenance, if you could ever trace its provenance exhaustively at all. And Humpty Dumpty took a great fall, so did the spores from some sphere of this world that have made a havoc of our language systems. The better to get out of the situation. Imagine catching a bee inside your ear hole. What kind of world might it construct to get out of living inside someone's head? I think that's what this world is. There's something that influences the mind of man that does not want to be anywhere near the mind of man. It's not made for that environment. And man is not made to live in a world ruled by it. So, in other words, there's almost an enemy of man that has as inhospitable an existence on this earth as man may be said to have, and has no trouble accusing man of having multiple biological and religious reasons for having a very difficult time making its way on this earth, because it's interested in making man feel as much like it feels as possible. Then it could have man's help in getting out of the situation that it's in. It's asking man to get out of the situation it's putting man into, so it can get out of the situation it's getting itself into. Does that make any sense? And that's what a kind of global virus or colonizing bacteria is doing, if much as may be said or hypothesized to be exerting a dominant influence over the mind of man, to which may be attributed the provenance of any number of diseases, and even most of what we consider history, science, and heaven and earth, and paradise, which is maybe just a pair of dice that Einstein said that God didn't play with. The pair that dies. The man and Steve, the Adam and Steve. And the man that dies when Adam and Steve first walk on the earth, because they can't really walk on. They have two souls. They're replaced by a different command of the drum beats of night and day, male and female. One sun and another, twin stars. Twin souls. We feel the palms of our hands and the soles of our feet, the pads of our feet. Get all the information that gets, or people try to tell us, and whatever people try to manipulate us into thinking, and this, that, and whatever, large and small. Some things will be seen to remain to be true. And as much as evil may have had its reign on this earth, so has the roots of our protection, and in the pure male energy of the earth. Doesn't need to turn everyone into a tranny or homosexual, or be perpetually sacrificed to the provenance and genesis of every corporate mandate in the world, and certainly how it would prevail upon its inventory's mind, and so forth and so forth. But again, I've sort of given a bacterial provenance to the troubles of man. That something which finds itself imprisoned in the mind need only accuse us of very much of an imprisoned and fugitive status with respect to the earth in order to commandeer our help in removing itself from prison, and nonetheless getting itself into that prison as much as it tries to enlist our help in getting out of it. And so enlisting us in the same industry. So when we get ourselves out of whatever prison we think we're getting, the more we're getting ourselves into one. That's a very, very confusing pair of dice, don't you think, to play with? I think we should be getting the most out of our nights and days. I think there's just a stored up voltage of, from the world where everyone was saying of everything we've done and how little we owe. The world doesn't owe you a living. Well, I don't owe the world anything then. Why should the world demand that I owe it something if I can't demand the world to owe me something? That tells me something's very wrong. Right? You give me what you want to give me, I'll give you what I want to give you. And I'm in a perfect standing with the world. Right? The world gives me what I want the world to give me and what it wants to give me, what it has to give me, and I give the world what I have to give it. And the rest is mine to do with as I wish, on every mythological and psychological level possible. And it may be that I'll get interested in books or magazines again, but I haven't been for many years. And I'm just contending with people today, just a witchy, kind of psychotic, quasi-Christian, non-Christian made references to my penis the other day when I was about to leave her house, and it's just, wow, you really feel. Yeah, and within minutes made references to her 2 dildos. Yeah, and made other references in front of her child to her vagina earlier in the evening. It's just, it's a bit much. Wow, control yourself. And these demonically possessed people, they never get it. They never fucking get it. It's like people who have Alzheimer's. You can't explain to someone at Alzheimer's at some point that they have Alzheimer's, and you can't explain to people who are Christian or Christian adjacent, who are utterly postulant with curses, that they're cursed. And all my aunts are virtually lesbians, and they've all done good works all of their lives. But they're not shining examples of women. One of them could probably write a treatise on what a woman is. The other could leave a legacy of maternal devotion to God. And so on through all the aunts in my family. But yet, I don't think a critically thinking, feminine, morally responsive woman among them. And the only thing that may do them some credit is I don't think even by the name woman we were to ever draweth down or up or summon what we think is good about a woman, what we think we're summoning when we want to summon a woman from the world. Walk forth all that is woman. The more I think about, say, wanting a woman in my life, it's like, what am I asking for? I don't want a woman. Maybe I should say strong feminine being. How are you going to find someone who defines themselves with an intimate interaction with their environment, with as much interest and increasing their knowledge why to depart from Christianity and Judaism in every way possible, that the system in every way that it demands anything from you demands a tribute to those thought systems of tribute and sacrifice and huge claims about what we are and what we're born to be, oaths that are spoken over our graves everywhere that people exchange information and money and industry. It's very, very profoundly deadly sort of metaphysical cult in this very popular titillating industrial sports entertainment complex. It's incredible. It's fucking incredible. It's fucking incredible. It's too bad that so many things people use to venerate it, like Rome and Greece and Egypt, are kind of made up because, I don't think anyone has an accurate picture about, in fact, how immense and elaborate the world is. David Icke's Pyramids Within Pyramids doesn't do it justice. I think it's better if each of us were to draw a picture of what we think it looks like. Is God on top? Or is God just part of every single part in the complex? And that's how it works, like software. Right? God inside everyone. The soul that's planted inside to help people live above the laws of the earth and have their own voice in nature, and as much as they are virtually forced to resort to living outside of them as much as possible. And subsequent to which, thinking about, talking about things relative to that state, or various metaphors for that state that have no bearing upon maintaining any valid connection to that state, that groundedness that the child possesses by birth. A magical mind, a feeling child, the magical child, this magical world out here. It's like, hey, I've got a secret for you. I have a story for you. There's people out there that people call adults, but they're actually still children. And they get a lot of guff from people if they notice that they're not working hard enough, because adults have to work really, really hard, and if you're not, they get angry at you. Because they believe that everyone, once they reach a certain size and weight, have to be a certain amount of busy as measured by certain types of social measures, so everyone can make sure that everyone's sufficiently busy and gives evidence that they've made use of themselves. Otherwise, they shouldn't deserve or feel that they deserve the good riches of this earth, that all of this world preys upon, that belongs to everyone, to distribute each as their heart bids them. And do you think if there were no churches or synagogues or mosques in this world, that people would not feel an abiding, bursting joy to share their generous spirit with one another? As if they had ever been allowed to receive and be nourished by it in the first place. So you see, when we are deprived of such open and unabated generosity, it's a good chance that we have also been deprived of the nourishment of our own spirit, our own time on earth, and the meaning we make of it. Isn't that lovely? I think it's a lovely thing. I'm in love with that idea. I'm in love with that life. I'm in love with that vision. I know we all sort of look into a kind of snake eyes. There's a snake eyes where man is supposed to be. Paradise is like a pair of snake eyes, right? And the curse and the snake and everything is right in there in the words, right in front of you, slithering in front of you, here and there, calling themselves God, Adam and Eve, and Jesus Christ, and every other fucked up character in that book, right? And then I want everyone to do is their homework, whoever's listening to this. Just listen to your favorite show, anything you can tolerate, no problem. And then just look at the transgenderism, and just look at how sophisticated the biblical, neurophysiological sort of game that's going on in front of you. What is the strongest, most saturated level of communication that's coming through this sexually, in terms of the actors and their bodies and their physiology, and then the scripts that work through this sort of hex of transgenderism. How biblical is that? How nuclear is it? What claims does it make on the sex, son, and purpose of all living things? How and in what way could we have got ourselves in this position? Did man truly make the world this evil all by himself? Are there, as I've suggested, spores or bacteria that fell, if you will, from the sky, found themselves some prey in what we might call the mind, or the software, or the wet works of man, and find themselves increasingly imprisoned within that, and then seeking to accuse man and imprison man, and accuse man of being imprisoned and needing to be, and so on, and just forming an elaborate level of intelligence in order to command and marshal all of man's possible help for getting out of prison. And if the character in the movie that you're trying to attack is going to get you out of a prison you found yourself in by getting into their mind, you want that character to feel as imprisoned as possible, and like an animal, just to be really, really busy to find his way out of prison. How do we get out of here? Where's the hole? Where's the hole in the roof? Where's the hole in the ledger? Where's the hole? Where's the gap? How do we get out? How do we get out? How do we get out? People get into the system. They work. Their work in retirement is like, how do I get out? How do I get out? They don't even know it. They stay in it. They never even get out of the cult. They don't ever recognize the health benefits of getting out. Hey, make your money and then get out. Get all the way out. Get out of the church. Get out of the industry. Get out. People, when they retire from many professions, should consider changing all of their friends. Just like losing a habit. You made your money, now lose the habit. You got your casino going, you got your money, now lose the habit. Make your big bet if you have to, and then walk out with your balls, whatever you got to do, but lose the habit. Lose the psychosis. Socially expedient as it can be said to be, almost any way you look at the world, and then multiplied by its product, by whatever swath and demographic or biopsy you wish to look at. A profile of a tree that, seen across a certain strata, minimal that may be, big as it may also seem to be, or make itself to be, the better to imprison its prey, man, a mole dropped down from the sky. It is not nearly as beleaguered as we may think. Our immune system actually works with this quite well. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.